Today we're going to continue on with another skill in calculating wages and incomes, and that is rounding time to the nearest 15 minutes. Tick-tock goes the clock. How many minutes has it got? Students will learn the basics of time and how to convert time to decimal. We have a big hand, and little markers for parts of the clock. The markers mark off time on the clock. The small marks designate the minute spaces. The big marks designate 5-minute spaces as well as the hour. Not all clocks have numbers on them, but the big lines will still indicate the hour and 5 minutes. 12 o'clock is always at the top of the clock, with 1 o'clock to its right and counting forward as you continue around. What hour is shown in the circle? 9 o'clock. Notice that the clock does not tell you AM or PM. You have to use your deductive skills to determine that. Try looking outside to see if the sun is up. The little hand. The little hand on a clock points to the big marks showing the hour. In this example, it is pointing to the number 1, meaning 1 o'clock. What hour is it showing now? What hour is it showing now? The hour is always based on the last mark passed until it actually reaches the new mark. Because the little hand has passed 7, it has not yet reached 8 o'clock, it is still 7 o'clock. The big hand on the clock points to the small marks, showing the minutes. In this example, it is pointing to the first big mark because it is the 5th small mark. The first big mark, 5 minutes have passed. Hint: count every mark beginning with the first one after the 12 until you reach the big hand is pointing to. So it is now showing 17 minutes have passed since 12. A quick minute trick. There are 60 minutes in an hour. If you divide 60 minutes by 4, you get 4 quarter hours of 15 minutes each. If you divide the clock into quarter sections, you can see 15-minute increments. A quarter pass means the big hand is pointing at the first quarter mark. A half pass means the big hand is halfway around the clock. Quarter till means the big hand only has a quarter of the clock left until it reaches the top. When working with decimals, we base our numbers off of 1.00. A quarter is written as 0.25. A half hour is written as 0.5, and 3/4 of an hour is written as 0.75. So convert these times to decimals. For example, 3 o'clock is written as 3.00, 3:15 is written as 3.25, 3:30 is written as 3.5, and 3:45 is written as 3.75. Now you try, convert these times to decimals. When wages are calculated, they are figured down to the quarter hour. If you work from 9 a.m. to 3:22 p.m., how long did you work? 6 hours and 22 minutes, round to 6 hours and 15 minutes. So it would be 6.25 because 15 minutes is a quarter of an hour. Why did 3:22 round to 3:15 or 3.25? To begin with, the easiest way to convert time to decimal is to work with quarter hours, so we'll round all times to the nearest 15 minutes. For the purpose of this class, round the times to the nearest quarter hour before you do the math to calculate how many hours were worked. Consider a number line based on 15. Where does the line divide for rounding? In the middle. If the time is less than the middle number, we round down. If it is the same or more than the middle number, we round up. So in this first case, on the 15 minutes, 7.5 is that middle number. So if it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, we're going to round up to the nearest hour or 15 minutes. If it's below that 7.5, we round to the 0. The same rule works for all 15-minute increments. So the first 15 minutes would be 7.5, second 15 minutes would round at 22.5, the next 15 minutes would round at 37.5, and then the last would be at 52.5. So back to our 8 hours and 22 minutes. Is 22 closer to the 15 or the 30? Because 22 is closer to 15, we round it down. Let's try a few more. 4 hours and 38 minutes would round to 38 minutes is higher than 37.5, you should round up to 45, so 0.75. Try this one. And this one. Okay, see if you can calculate how many hours these people worked. See if you can calculate time, overtime, or regular time and overtime on these people. Remember, regular time would be an 8-hour day. Okay, what does the big hand on the clock point to? How many minutes are in a quarter of an hour? If you worked from 9 a.m. until 5:37 p.m., how long did you work? Round to the nearest quarter hour.